I started off my life with very few advantages. My parents never had any money, and my father was unemployed for long stretches. I failed out of high school and worked as a laborer for many years. When I was 24, I was still drifting. I was broke, unemployed, deeply in debt, with no skills, no education, no powerful friends, and not much of a future as far as I could see. But then I began asking the question, why is it that some people are more successful than others? Why is it that some people have more money, better jobs, happier families, vibrant health, and exciting lives? They drive nicer cars, they wear nicer clothes, and live in better homes. They always seem to have money in their pockets and in their bank accounts. They go to nice restaurants, they take nice trips, and they have enjoyable, satisfying lives. Why was this? Some people told me that successful people were just lucky. Successful, happy people were those who had had the lucky breaks. Unsuccessful, unhappy people, they told me, were just victims of bad luck. Did this mean that people who started off from limited backgrounds, worked hard, studied hard, and pulled themselves up into positions of prominence by their own application and effort were lucky? Did this mean that people who had come from all over the world with no friends, no language skills, no money, and no opportunities, and who had then become successful, were just lucky? Did this mean that people who started off with nothing, who over the course of their working lifetimes became financially independent, self-made millionaires or even billionaires, were just lucky? Quite honestly, it didn't make sense to me. According to the IRS, there are more than 1.8 million millionaires in the United States, most of them self-made. More than 100,000 people become millionaires in the United States each year at a rate of approximately 1 every 5 minutes. Are all these people just lucky? What I learned and what I'm about to share with you is the result of more than 25 years of research and study into the thoughts, feelings, actions, behaviors, and decisions of successful people. And the bottom line of all this research is my discovery that luck is predictable. Luck is not a series of random, haphazard occurrences that one person gets a lot of and the other person gets none. In fact, I have found that you can have all the luck you want if you do the things that other so-called lucky people do. In about 425 BC, the Greek philosopher Socrates propounded what has come to be the foundation law of Western philosophy and Western thought. At a time when everyone believed in the gods on Mount Olympus and the causeless, chaotic influences of flowers, rocks, trees, and the elements, Socrates stated simply that we live in a world of law, governed by a system of order, whether we understand the principles behind it or not. In what later became known as the Socratic method of argument, he used his considerable rhetorical skills to force people to think through the logical consequences of their thoughts and behaviors. In his time, this idea was known as the Socratic law of causality. Today we call it the law of cause and effect. We accept it as a part of our way of looking at the world. But in Socrates' day, it was a remarkable idea and hotly debated. It was even one of the reasons that Socrates was put to death. The law of cause and effect says that everything happens for a reason. For every effect in your life, there is a cause, or a series of specific, measurable, definable, identifiable causes. This law says that if there is anything you want in life, an effect that you desire, you can find someone else who's achieved the same result or effect, and by doing the same things that they have done over and over, you can eventually enjoy the same results and rewards. Success, however you define it, is not an accident. It is not a result of good luck versus bad luck. Even if you have not taken the time to clearly identify how you got from where you were to where you are today, there have been a series of specific steps that you have taken that have brought you to where you are at this minute. And the fact is, they could have brought you to no other place. You are where you are and what you are because of yourself. It has been your choices and your decisions over the months and years that have inevitably determined the condition of your life at this moment. The most wonderful part of this is that at any time you can start making different choices and different decisions, taking different steps, and you will inevitably arrive at a different place than where you are today. A friend of mine now, a gentleman named Ivan Stragorsky, a Russian immigrant, told me his story not long ago. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, his dream was to come to America. After several years of trying and failing over and over, he finally got a visa and a plane ticket. He arrived in New York with everything he owned in a cardboard box tied up with string. He couldn't speak a single word of English. He found his way to the neighborhood in New York called Little Russia, where a large number of Russian immigrants lived. In his first year in America, the only job he could get was delivering pizza out of a Russian pizza place to other Russians within a few block radius. But Ivan had one tremendous advantage that many other people lack. He knew absolutely that America was a land of opportunity. He also knew that the key to this new land was the ability to speak English fluently. So he began listening to my audio programs on success and achievement, and eventually those of other success authors and narrators. He read our books. He learned English, and he learned success at the same time. His mind was wide open because none of these principles had ever been taught to him while he lived in the Soviet Union. At the end of his first year, his English was good enough for him to get a job in sales with a printing company. At the end of his second year, he was doing so well that he decided to start his own company as a printing broker. In his third year in America, he sold $2 million worth of printing services and made more than $400,000 in personal income. And his success had nothing whatever to do with luck.
But my case is different. I attract bad luck. Recently, I heard a traffic engineer discuss highway safety. He pointed out that upward of 40,000 persons are killed each year in so-called traffic accidents. The main point of his talk was that there is no such thing as a true accident. What we call an accident is the result of human or mechanical failure, or a combination of both. What this traffic expert was saying substantiates what wise men throughout the ages have said. There is a cause for everything. Nothing happens without a cause. There is nothing accidental about the weather outside today. It is the result of specific causes, and there is no reason to believe that human affairs are an exception. Yet hardly a day passes that you do not hear someone blame his problems on bad luck. And it's a rare day that you do not hear someone attribute another person's success to good luck. Let me illustrate how people succumb to luck excusitis. I lunched recently with 3 young junior executives. The topic of conversation that day was George C., who just yesterday had been picked from among their group for a major promotion. Why did George get the position? These 3 fellows dug up all sorts of reasons. Luck, pull, bootlicking, George's wife and how she flattered the boss, everything but the truth. The facts were that George was simply better qualified. He had been doing a better job. He was working harder. He had a more effective personality. I also knew that the senior officers in the company had spent much time considering which one of the 4 would be promoted. My 3 disillusioned friends should have realized that top executives don't select major executives by drawing names from a hat. I was talking about the seriousness of luck excusitis not long ago with a sales executive of a machine tool manufacturing company. He became excited about the problem and began to talk about his own experience with it. I've never heard it called that before, he said, but it is one of the most difficult problems every sales executive has to wrestle with. Just yesterday, a perfect example of what you're talking about happened in my company. One of the salesmen walked in about 4 o'clock with a $112,000 order for machine tools. Another salesman, whose volume is so low he's a problem, was in the office at the time. Hearing John tell the good news, he rather enviously congratulated him and then said, "Well, John, you're lucky again." Now, what the weak salesman won't accept is that luck had nothing to do with John's big order. John had been working on that customer for months. He had talked repeatedly to a half-dozen people out there. John had stayed up nights figuring out exactly what was best for them. Then he got our engineers to make preliminary designs of the equipment. John wasn't lucky. unless you can call carefully planned work and patiently executed plans luck. Suppose luck were used to reorganize General Motors. If luck determined who does what and who goes where, every business in the nation would fall apart. Assume for a moment that General Motors were to be completely reorganized on the basis of luck. To carry out the reorganization, the names of all employees would be placed in a barrel. The first name drawn would be the president, the second name the executive vice president, and so on down the line. Sounds stupid, doesn't it? Well, that's how luck would work. People who rise to the top in any occupation, business management, selling, law, engineering, acting, or what have you, get there because they have superior attitudes and use their good sense in applied hard work. Conquer luck excusitis in two ways. Number one, accept the law of cause and effect. Take a second look at what appears to be someone's good luck. You'll find that not luck, but preparation, planning, and success-producing thinking preceded his good fortune. Take a second look at what appears to be someone's bad luck. Look, and you'll discover certain specific reasons. Mr. Success receives a setback. He learns and profits. But when Mr. Mediocre loses, he fails to learn. Number two, don't be a wishful thinker. Don't waste your mental muscles dreaming of an effortless way to win success. We don't become successful simply through luck. Success comes from doing those things and mastering those principles that produce success. Don't count on luck for promotions, victories, the good things in life. Luck simply isn't designed to deliver these good things. Instead, just concentrate on developing those qualities in yourself that will make you a winner.